Hello, welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we'll review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every other week, Nellie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Edge of Tomorrow.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
Press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the dates on this movie.
hello, Natalie. How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah? You ready to talk about this movie?
I remember.
Edge of Tomorrow came out in 2014 with a runtime of 1 hour and 53 minutes, streaming on Netflix. It's written by Christopher McQuarrie, Jez Butterworth, and John Henry Butterworth, and directed by Doug Liman. Main stars are Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, and Bill Paxton. The movie is based on a popular Japanese novel and manga named All You Need Is Kill by Hirosho Sakuruzaka. So what do you think of the movie?
I liked it, but I was confused.
What were you confused about?
This whole Groundhog's Day situation, it confused me, and I found multiple plot holes.
Multiple plot holes. Okay, I found one big one. Other than that, I didn't find too many.
I actually only found one, but I wanted to sound cooler.
Alright, we'll pretend like you have found dozens. But you enjoyed it overall?
Yes.
What did you rate it?
I gave it 4 stars.
Okay. I liked it. Watching it, I really enjoyed it watching it again. Tom Cruise is a movie star. Can't deny that. He's pretty cool.
I found it annoying. I know they paid for him, but he was always like, I don't wear a helmet. It's a distraction. Okay.
From what?
The guy.
About what?
Tom Cruise. He wouldn't wear his helmet in war. And they're like, what? You're not wearing a helmet. He's like, it's a distraction. No, it's not. You've just been bought out.
He knew how the story went, and it was a distraction to him. If he took it out, then...
No.
You didn't get the story. It looks like you loved it with a 4-star rating and didn't even know what happened.
I don't. Why don't we get into the recap?
Let's. Maybe it'll refresh your memory on the movie that you loved so much that you gave it a 4-star.
I just gave this rating now. It seemed accurate.
You just made it up right now?
Yes.
The movie begins with news coverage about the devastation an alien attack has wrought on Earth. 5 years has passed, and the United Earth Defense has a plan to attack the aliens, called the Mimics. The attack is called Operation Downfall, and it's headed by one of its heroes, a woman named Rita. What do you think of Rita?
She was cool, I guess.
She was tough, right? The angel of her dawn. She was like rad, powerful.
Mid.
Wow, female heroes. I guess you're against them. In London, Major Cage, a military journalist, meets with General Brenham.
A little bit done with this whole, oh, there's aliens, and look, there's this guy from the military. Yay! It's like the same storyline beginning every single time.
Well, how do you introduce him otherwise?
Why does the guy always have to be in the military? Why is it always like aliens? Like they could come up with something better.
Like what?
I don't know. I'm not a movie writer.
Wow. I think you aren't, because aliens are a smash hit.
No.
They're a big draw.
Well, clearly to you.
To you too.
No.
You gave this movie a 4-star, so you love it.
I didn't know if I liked it.
It's a 4-star. You should have gave it a 5-star. I think you really enjoyed it.
I think I didn't.
All right. Anyways, he meets with General Brigham about his assignment. Brigham tells him he's going to the front line to document the war. Cage says he's not a real soldier and will not go. Brigham insists, and Cage tries to blackmail him. At that point, Brigham immediately arrests him. He thought he was going to get away with it, but no. The next day, Cage is awoken by a sergeant calling him a maggot. Then he meets Sergeant Farrell. Farrell has been told that Cage is a new recruit and a deserter. Cage tells him he's an officer, and Farrell doesn't believe him and takes him to his post with the J Squad. At the barracks, Farrell tells his team that Cage is a deserter, which makes the team hate him immediately. The J Squad is scheduled to leave for Operation Downfall the next day, and Cage is freaking out. He tells everyone he's not a soldier, and no one will listen. The next day, he's outfitted with his mecha. He asks how to use it, and no one will help him. They go on a plane transport in the battle site. They go there and are supposed to jump down. Then the plane is hit, and Cage lands on the battle site. His team is decimated. The mimics were there waiting and ready. Then he sees Rita kick butt and die. Cage is petrified and then is caught by a huge mimic called an alpha. He luckily kills it, but the alpha's blood gets all over his face and melts it like acid. You know, that one scene where they're not helping him at all? They're going to be out there with him. And they kind of need him to back them up. Yeah, sure, they don't care if he lives or dies, but wouldn't you want a little bit of backup in case a mimic is about to kill you and he's there and he can save you? Like, wouldn't they help him a little bit?
I don't know.
The very next instant, Cage wakes up on duffel bags again. The day has seemed to reset. Everything is happening all over again as it did on the first day. He's perplexed that he is living the same day again. He tries to tell people, but they think he's lying.
They say at this point, he was already like repeating things and remembering things. I would not remember it. I barely know what I had for breakfast this morning.
If you had it 18 times in a row, you would.
I know, but this is the second time he's ever done it. And he was already like, and it's in your pocket. Blah, blah, blah. Like he's already doing stuff. Like he already remembers a majority of the day.
I would too. I think I would be pretty good at it. I mean, he is a journalist, so they're good at documenting, watching, observing, maybe. That could be the excuse. I don't know. He goes into battle again and dies a different way. He respawns again and comes to realize that every time he dies, he wakes up at the beginning of the prior day on the duffel bags. You mentioned it's a Groundhog's Day scenario. You've never even seen that movie, right?
No.
So we would watch it, but it is PG. So it's not PG-13. It's really good, but it's more of a comedy.
I don't know how well you can do this concept.
I thought this was a pretty good, well done version of it.
No, but I'm saying like how many movies can come from this? I was going to say it's repetitive, but that's kind of the whole point. Yeah. But like if you watch one movie that's like, oh, that's cool, and then you watch another, and then you watch... So I wouldn't personally want to watch Groundhog's Day because I'd be like, it's the same thing.
I would think that's the case if it were the same genre. But Groundhog's Day is more of a comedy romance.
I watched the Christmas one. They made a one on Disney, and I'm kind of done with the whole concept.
Except for this one, you give it a 4-star. I'm gonna tout that 4-star till the end.
No.
If he gets to find patterns and survive just a little longer, he respawns tons of times and always dies. Then in one new life, he saves Rita. She can tell by his actions that he's memorized the day. She tells him to come and see him when he wakes up. Then they both die. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be bored of it. Because this is like a video game. This is like a video game that he's reliving every time. And that's what I thought about this the whole time I was watching this movie. It was like a video game. It was like someone gave me this video game that's super hard. And I played it over and over and over and over and over again until you're able to beat it. Back in my days when we had video games, we had like 3 lives and you'd have to continue and start over and all that. So you'd have to memorize everything. You have to memorize where everybody's at. You have to memorize when to jump. You have to memorize when to duck. And so it really reminded me of a video game that you die every time and have to restart.
I think this is stupid because...
Wow, 4 stars. But yeah, go ahead.
Another reason I dislike this concept is later when he like messes up and like hurts himself, she just shoots him. So the day restarts. But like in that life, the day doesn't restart. So she literally just murdered this guy. And
then she would go to jail or something.
And then like her life just continues. Like that's such a plot. Just because he dies doesn't mean that everyone dies in that instant. It's like another timeline.
That's, well, you think maybe, but they controlled time. So the alpha is able to control time. I think once he dies, everything restarts. So I don't think there is another timeline. I think it's like the game's over, you restart it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, this whole alternate timeline, that's just what you've seen in other movies. I mean, none of this is real, right? Obviously, time travel's all wrong. But if you kill someone, what they're doing is restarting everything, so nothing happened. So it's not like she kills him and it's over. And then he's dead and then she gets arrested for shooting an officer. That's not what happens. They just restart. Like everything blacks out and then the time goes back to where he woke up in the duffel bags. I think that's the mythology of this world. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I think that makes more sense. The next day, Cage finds Rita and tells her that he's reliving the same day over and over again. Rita tells Cage that she had the same power. That is why she's so awesome in war. She got the power to relive the day in the same way, having an alpha bleed on her. But she lost the power when she had a blood transfusion. Then, that kind of cheapens her awesomeness. Because she was like the tough soldier, like the queen bee of everybody. And then you find out that in all reality, she was just cheating.
Yeah, but she's still in war. She was still beating up a bunch of people. She didn't have the power anymore.
Yeah.
She only had it for one battle.
No, she had it for that whole time. Lost it, and now this is the new battle. And she gets killed. Immediately. She
had been a soldier all up until that point. Then had one battle where she was able to relive the day.
We don't know that.
Yeah, because that's when the thing splashed on her.
And then after that, she became like this legendary character. Mm-hmm. Like she won a whole battle. Like that's not just one day. It could be like a bunch of days or a bunch of skirmishes. Then she loses her power. It's over, and then we don't know what happens. So Rita takes Cage to see Dr. Carter, a mimic expert and the only other person that knows about their skill. Dr. Carter says that the mimics are a hive mind. They are one big organism. The alphas can control time with their blood. He thinks that if they die and bleed on you, you get their power. The queen mimic is called an omega. If you kill the omega, they all die. Dr. Carter tells Cage that eventually he will have visions and it will lead him to the omega. Rita tells Cage that he will have to take her to the omega. Cage admits he is so awful, and she agrees to train him. A training montage begins, and he is pretty bad, but eventually he gets better. Then in a future respawn, he sees the vision of the omega at a dam.
I don't think he's working out, but then he doesn't get to keep his strength in the next life. His muscles are gone.
Well, he doesn't really get muscles. It's just one day.
And then also, this thing is that like the bots are coming at him, right? And they're like, wow, he's getting better. No, he's not. He's just memorizing the patterns of the bots. He can't do that if he's having a fresh life.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why he's so good in the war. Because he's just memorized the pattern.
But the point is that he's like, oh, I'm so bad. I don't know how to do things. And then it's not like he's gotten better.
Well, he does know how to. He learned how to do things. He learned how to use his mecha. He learned how to use his weapons. These are things he wasn't able to do. But you're right. I mean, what is it makes him good? What made her good? The skills that they have, or the fact that they've memorized the day and are able to know exactly what to do and when? I mean, you got to live a million times to like kind of memorize it. I mean, I played video games thousands of times until you're able to beat them. You know what I mean? Oh, who knows how many times he respawned. The battle scene is on and Cage is discouraged. He cannot get off the first battlefield. Eventually, he and Rita do and get to a car. He talks to her and she doesn't want them to get close. She says watching someone you care about die over and over again is hard. They get to a little house and stay there and see a helicopter. She's about to go on the chopper and he says they've relived this day a million times. And she dies every time. She risks it and dies. Cage is falling in love with her.
I don't understand this. This part is stupid. He's lived this every single time. She's probably had this argument also before. It's like, you know his power. You're probably the only one who really understands it. And you're like, nope, I know better. No, you don't. sit down. He knows what he's talking about. He could have been like, okay, I'll sacrifice myself for the mission. But that's not what she needs to do. They should find another way instead of going to the same house every single day. She could have waited in the night and then went on. They could have had so many other options. But she was like, no, I know better. Clearly she didn't.
Yeah, at that point, I think she should have just listened to him. But then what did he want to do? He just wanted to have a romantic night, make out with her, and then call it a day?
No, they said that they were going to like another station house.
Yeah. I mean, then why didn't they ever do that before?
Because they ran out of gas.
Maybe she always does it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, she does die. It doesn't work. Cage is falling in love with Rita, and he can no longer see her die, so he goes to the battle alone. Gets to the dam and realizes it's a trap. The Omega is not there, and an Alpha is waiting for him to take his blood. He eventually kills himself and restarts the day. Cage goes to Dr. Carter, and Dr. Carter tells him about the transponder. If Cage sticks it in his leg, he'll be able to see visions of where the Omega really is. But there's only one transponder, and it's in General Brigham's safe. Rita and Cage go and see Brigham a bunch of times to get the transponder. Almost always they have to reset because the General will not give them the code to the safe. Eventually they get the code, and Cage uses the transponder. He learns that the Omega is at the Louvre. Then they are ambushed, and he gets injured and arrested. So this is the biggest plot hole of the movie for me. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. So they have to go there a bunch of times. Brigham never lets him get into the safe. Eventually he does, right? They know he has to stab himself with a transponder, right? Why doesn't he do it right there in the office? He eventually does it in the car as they're escaping. Then the car gets hit, crashes into something, and they both get knocked out. So that's why he doesn't kill himself. But why doesn't he just do it in the office and then shoot himself?
Because he doesn't want to restart the day.
He has to restart the day.
Oh, no matter what?
I mean, why wouldn't you? All he needs to know is where the Omega is.
He doesn't have to get the transponder in every...
He's already
lifetime.
Late. No, he already know. I mean, it's like it's like you see a secret, now you know it. You don't have to go back and get it again.
Yeah.
And then you think, she and him spent the whole day doing that. If he would have just woke up that next morning, he's already in the knowledge of where it is. But no, instead, they have to figure out a way to take away his powers. I think that's just the dumbest oversight. He should have stabbed himself right there in the office where they had everybody hostage. He's like, it's in the Louvre. She kills him, and then they restart the day.
Wait, but if they knew how to escape, they knew how to escape?
Well, there's a scene where they run out and they get caught. And then she kills him. And then there's a scene later where they're like driving away. So they've tried to escape maybe several times. You know, in the whole Respawn world, we don't know how many times they do things. But we do know they try to escape at least twice. Why wouldn't you just kill him right off the bat?
I don't know.
I thought that was the biggest plot hole in the whole movie. Cage wakes up and realizes he's had a blood transfusion. He no longer has the power. Rita storms in and they both escape. They get back to base and realize they have to attack the Louvre before Operation Downfall gets all of their soldiers killed. He asks the J Squad to help, and they say absolutely not. He tells them millions of details of their lives that he's learned over the hundreds or thousands of times he's respawned, and they agree to help. The team are ambushed on the way to the Louvre. They regroup, and everyone does their part to get Cage and Rita to the Omega. Cage and Rita get there, and they find the Omega. An Alpha attacks, and Rita sacrifices herself to give Cage a chance. He gets to the Omega and blows it up, as well as himself. All the mimics die instantly. As he lays there, the Alpha's blood gets on him. Cage wakes up the day before he meets General Brigham for the first time. They find out that the war is over. All the mimics have died. He retains his rank, and he goes to see Rita. The end. I didn't like the ending very much. Did you like the ending?
No.
So if he would have woke up the day on the duffel bags, then nothing would have changed. But he woke up the day before. So he's still a major. He didn't lose his rank because, you know, he was threatening the general. And then he's still able to save the day. And all the squad that dies, they go back to life too. It's kind of like a cheesy happy ending.
And it also doesn't make sense. Because he's not
Why
supposed to have this power because the Omega is dead, so the power no longer works because there's nothing controlling time.
Yeah, I know. But I guess it goes back one more time because it bleeds on him. But then does he have that power forever now? Does the day always start at that day? Like he'll never die?
Well, he wouldn't keep the power because the only thing that was making time restart was the Omega. The Omega's gone, so there's nothing to make the time restart.
Yeah.
So, because it's dead. So that's why it doesn't even make sense that he restarted himself. Because there's nothing there to control time. The blood has no effect.
Well, is it the Omega or the Alpha? No, they're all dead, so it doesn't even matter what it is. They're all dead. But maybe the blood is the tool that people use to make time travel happen.
I don't think so.
He's going to grow to like an 80-year-old man. He's like, I love you. I love you too. I'm going to die. Oh, I die. And he opens his eyes and it's that same day when he wakes up before he sees General Bingham. Maybe he's never going to die. I think he's stuck in a loop forever.
I don't think so.
You're right. I don't know. If they're the ones that give him the power to time travel, then there's no reason to have it. Could this movie still be made today?
Wait, I want to bring out my plot hole.
Okay. What's your plot hole?
So, I think that in the middle, when J. Crew goes with them, well, more towards the end, I guess.
J. Crew. J Squad. Uh-huh.
J. Crew!
All right. That's pretty cool.
And the guy's like, just whatever you do, don't get the blood of the Alpha on you, or else you'll have my power. That's literally what you want. Like, that's like the whole problem is that you don't have this power. You would remember that you had this power. She would remember you had this power. The person from J Squad would just run up and be like, I have the blood of an Alpha and we need to do this quest. We're so close to the end. Like, we're so close to making it. And then they'll be like, all right, we're in because we know what's going on because we've both had this power before.
Uh-huh.
Why are they like, don't get the blood? No, that's actually the point. They should, like, that should be a tactic.
Like, get the Alpha's blood on you so you can start getting its powers.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's the point of being like, we're gonna die. Oh, but by the way, don't get that magical saving power that's gonna give you life and allow us to defeat this bad guy because of this infinite restart glitch. Don't get that on you. That would be a terrible thing.
That's just dumb. I wouldn't call that a plot hole.
No, it's just like the whole point is that they no longer have this power and it's like, now we have to do this like real man. And then like they really don't. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have to be pretty lucky to get the Alpha to bleed on you. Although it happened 3 times.
You just explode it. It just bleeds.
Yeah, but the Alpha kills everybody. You've seen how the Alpha is like an Alpha. It like kills all people. It's like a predator.
One of them go and hug the Alpha, and then the other one goes, pew, 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 pew.
Shoots them both at the same time together. Or one comes with an Alpha and a bomb. Like a suicide mission.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's pretty easy. You just make the Alpha explode, and as long as you're the one killing it, the blood's going to get on you.
And then you see that they're in this huge battle. Do you think no Alpha's ever been killed before? How is it that he's so lucky that he kills an Alpha?
Twice.
Well...
And how is she the only other person that's ever done that?
Right. You think that this has happened hundreds of times with hundreds of people who have stolen their powers. I don't know. Maybe you're right. All right, anyway, could this movie still be made today?
I don't know.
All right. Does it pass the Bechdel test?
No.
Yeah, I don't think it does. Bechdel test is a test check for female representation in a movie. There are 3 criteria. Criteria number 1, do they have 2 or more named females?
Yeah.
Who?
Rita.
The Angel of Verdun. And?
The girl from J. Crew.
J Squad. Okay. Criteria number 2, do they talk to each other?
No.
I do not think they talk to each other. So it does not pass. They definitely don't talk to each other about something other than a man, which is criteria number 3, because they don't talk to each other at all. So no passing of the Bechdel test on this one.
I don't think it was that great of a movie for female representation.
They made the strongest, most powerful person the best battler a woman.
Yet they took that away from her by saying that the only reason she did that was because her day was repeating. And they made her stupid because she's like, I don't care, I'm going on this plane anyways.
I don't think that was dumb. I think that was just a sense of desperation. I also agree, but then there is no hero. She's the only hero in the movie, other than the main character, who cheats his way to get it too. And we know he's garbage from the beginning. He admits it. He knows he's not a soldier.
Well, I'm not saying he's a hero either. I'm just saying there's not really a big hero in this movie.
Yes, the J Squad. I think the J Squad are hero.
J-Crew.
The J Crew, yeah. All right, anything else before we call it a day?
Oh, there was a couple times I think they fell out of a ship at the end. And then they were like 1,000,000 feet above. And I don't understand why he didn't die.
The mecha. That mecha is supposed to be like, they're in robots, you know, they're supposed to survive that kind of stuff. But I think there's a scene where he wasn't even in his mecha and he got thrown around, right? Yeah. No, I agree with you. They have to make him tough. And Tom Cruise has to do his own
But he
stunts.
he doesn't have the muscles.
Well, I mean, it's more about skill. Yeah, no, that's a good point. He didn't memorize anything, but if he shot a gun 3,000 times, he's going to be a better marksman.
But he's not good at falling because every time he falls, he just dies and he resets. He doesn't know how to fall safely. He just dies.
Yeah. He doesn't. Yeah.
And if he does fall, then you also get shot by Rita. So it's like there's not really like anything. He never falls correctly. He always ends up breaking his legs.
That's true. That's true. All right. Anything else?
No.
Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app or like our podcast on YouTube. Our emoji for today is alien.
We put out an episode every Monday.
If you want to see extra podcast content, follow our TikTok at Papi Approved Movies.
If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
That's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestion.
And remember, it has to be PG-13.
I'll be back in 2 weeks to watch Scrooge.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye.